In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a 1-inch double check in the state of Texas in 2022. My name is Kelly Staggs, and you're watching American Irrigator. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any irrigation tips. I'm going to put this stuff together, and I'm going to show you what I use to build this thing up and start installing it in the ground. So we've got our 1-inch double check here, and I'm also going to use, this is a 1-inch Schedule 80. It's a 1-inch by 12 Schedule 80 nipple. I'm going to put one of those on each side, and I'm going to end up cutting the threads off of one side because I want this to be sticking out of the box pretty far, because on one end I'm going to have a ball valve, shut-off valve. The other end I'm just going to have just a regular electric valve. This is a Rain Bird DVF 1-inch slip, and it's going to be my master valve on the other end. Now this does have a little arrow which way it's facing, so you want to make sure you get that right. But for right now, these are just going to go on the end, so it doesn't really matter. I like to go around about 5 times. One of the things when you're putting this Teflon on, you want to leave that first thread open, and it'll grab and it'll thread in there a lot easier. So bring your Teflon tape back just a little bit and let that first thread really thread on there. And if you notice it getting tight really fast, you may have it cross-threaded, and that's one thing you do not want to do. Do not want to cross-thread any of these fittings. But I'll get it hand tight. I'm gonna go a little bit more with my wrench. This is where you gotta really be careful, and I don't really recommend you doing it unless you really know what you're doing, because you could break this fitting or crack it if you tighten it too much. Over tightening is an issue, so you gotta be very careful. That's getting pretty tight, so that's good. So this will set in there like that. Cut these threads off. Ball valve there. Cut those threads off. Master valve there. One of the other things I want to mention about this Schedule 80 nipple is they make some that are machined and some that are molded. You want to get one that is machined, because then I can cut this off and I can glue onto this. Like I said, I've got my master valve here. Once I cut this off, I can glue this valve straight onto this nipple. But if it was a molded piece, it usually has a little line down the side, and the outside diameter of those molded pieces are not the same as the inside diameter of most of these valves and fittings and stuff. And so they can't be glued onto. But this one is machined. You can glue straight onto this. And I'm going to show you how I set these valve boxes down in the hole, how I get the level right, get the depth right of the hole, set these boxes up. I'm going to show you all that today too. Now I like to do this double box installation where I turn one box upside down, and just a 12-inch standard box for a 1-inch double check, set another box on top of it. Makes for a really good clean installation. And you've seen some of my other videos where I've done this too, and you can check out that playlist right here. So I've got my 2 standard boxes here. This one's gonna go on the bottom, so I went ahead and taped up both sides, got the hole there, taped that up, and I already had my hole pretty well dug, but I wanna show you kind of how I set these in here and we can pick the right height. Then I'll take this bottom box and set it in here. Set that in there like that. Take my other box, set it up on top, and then I'll kind of get back here and check my height. Now the landscaping on this job is going to get some different type of rock materials. We're going to have a decomposed granite, we're going to have some river rock in some areas, and so the ground level that we have is going to be what the base is. Then we're going to go up about 2 or 3 inches with that rock material. And so when I'm setting the height of this double check valve box, I want it to be at least an inch above the top of where that rock's going to be. And so from where my grade is right now, I need it to be up probably at least 4 inches, and that'll give me a good lip all the way around so the rock doesn't get back down in there. But it's easy to then come to this valve box, open it up, test the backflow, turn it on and off, and do whatever you need to do. If this was in the middle of a yard where it's going to have grass and be mowed over it, we're going to want to set it pretty much level with the grade. That way a mower is not going to be jumping over it or running over it, tearing up the lid, mowing it up. And so depending on where you are and what you're doing, you want to think about that and install this according to what's going to work best on your particular job. But getting back and look at this, I like that height, and I actually scraped some of this dirt, so we're going to bring it up a little bit, but I'm going to have that lip that I need then for that rock to come all, a little bit below the top of this, and it's going to make this level pretty much perfect. So let's take this box off. Now grab our double check, set it on here. And one of the things you're going to notice, we don't have a Y strainer on it. You don't have to do that in Texas anymore. This is going to be pretty well centered right here. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and weld on my master valve and my shutoff valve. So I'm going to let this just kind of sit here first, but then when I get ready to put this together, I'm going to hold it to where the test cocks are coming straight up. That'll make it easy to test this device with these coming up, and we want our valve to be facing straight up too. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this right here of this box that's going to go on top. So now that pipe will fit right over that, and the one on the bottom I left, so it's sitting on the one on the bottom. This will go over it like this. Now you can see this one on the bottom. See, I left that little notch there. Double check sitting straight onto that, but we've got this cut off, and that's why this is gonna go straight over that. Sitting on the bottom, goes over the pipe. Of course, this will be sitting straight up and down once I get everything in and set, and that's what it'll look like there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dig my other valve boxes and get the rest of this kind of set up, and it'll hold that double check straight up and down, and then I'll be able to tape all this up and get it done just perfect. Now one of the things I'll do when I get all this kind of set the way I want it, and before I finish this out, I'll fill this bottom box in just a little bit, leave it up a little bit from the top, and that'll stabilize that and keep it where I need it to be while I'm doing the rest of this work and digging this other valve box out. Now that I've got my main line and other things set, got my other box on here, taped everything up to where no dirt can get in this valve box, got my master valve there, got my shutoff valve on the other side, about to run over here to this meter and get it tied in as well. Let me show you inside this box what it looks like. So sitting here right now, got our test cocks facing up, got our shutoff valves to our double check just here on the side, very easily accessible, and it's very clean. No dirt can get around this. It's going to make this double check, being in the ground, it's going to make it last a long time. And also I want to point out, you see the arrow? So this is the way our water's coming in. Our shutoff valve there, coming in here, and then over to our master valve here. Then one of our last steps on this installation is putting the valve boxes over our master valve and our shutoff valve. So what I'll do, and this is a 6-inch round box, and it's not as tall as this standard box here, but we want to get it set. And I'll take one with no lid, get it set just right, then I'll fill in around it, and I'll take another one and we'll use it to make sure it's at the exact right height as this other top. And this is essentially over here. I went ahead and did one for you. That way you could see. So took the 2 boxes to bring it up to the exact same height, and then we'll do all this grading and have everything good right height beside it. What you're gonna have is you're gonna have 3 boxes here. Shutoff valve, double check backflow preventer, master valve. This is a typical installation and what you're gonna see on a job. And this is what an inspector wants to see too, because he'll want you to come in here, he wants you to open up all these valve boxes, set them all, because he'll want to see your shutoff valve, see your backflow preventer, and then see your master valve. So that's what it'll be like.